I never thought I would witness the day my own family would sit to celebrate my son's death. I couldn't believe it. When people talk about family betrayal, they mention gossip, arguments, insults, or broken promises. But nothing could have prepared me for the moment my mother, while carving a Thanksgiving turkey, thanked God that my child was dead. My son, Noah, was only 5. He passed away from a heart condition, something we didn't even know he had until it was too late. I buried a piece of myself with him. And yet, the people who were supposed to comfort me mocked his memory. Let me take you back to that day. My mother had insisted I come home for Thanksgiving. It's time for you to move on, Clara, she said on the phone. You're making the whole family uncomfortable with your grief. Just come and act normal for once. Those words should have been enough for me to say no. But part of me still hoped that maybe, just maybe, my family would finally show some compassion. By the time I arrived, the dining room was full. My aunts, uncles, cousins, even their kids were running around laughing. I received a few forced smiles, a couple of stiff nods. My mother barely hugged me. Dinner began, and everything seemed tolerable until my mother stood to carve the turkey. She tapped her knife against the plate, signaling for everyone to quiet down. Then she lifted her wine glass and smiled, a smile that still haunts me. Before we start, she said, I want to give thanks. I sat up straighter, thinking maybe she would finally acknowledge Noah in a loving way. Maybe she would say something comforting. But instead she turned to me, her face glowing with satisfaction. Thanks to your son's death, our family line now remains pure. I froze. I wasn't sure I heard her correctly. My aunt laughed first, loudly. Then the others followed like a chorus of hyenas. She really thought she could bring that child into this family, my cousin muttered under her breath. Mixed blood. Disgusting. My uncle added, good thing nature corrected the mistake. Someone else said, we told her not to have that baby. But no, she wanted to ruin the bloodline. Laughter swelled around the table, echoing, growing, suffocating. I sat there, breathless, my vision blurring. My mother raised her glass higher. To purity. They all clinked their glasses. I didn't cry. I didn't scream. I simply stood up, pushed my chair back quietly, and walked out of the dining room. Not one person followed me. Not one person apologized. Not one person cared. But that was the moment something in me hardened. Something cold, sharp, and dangerous. They thought my silence meant defeat. I knew it meant war. They believed Noah was mixed blood, a shameful stain on their pure lineage. But what they never knew was that Noah's father belonged to a family more powerful than they could ever imagine. For years, I hid Noah's father's identity because I didn't want my life entangled with old money, politics, and generational alliances. His name was Daniel Mercer, the son of a business titan whose influence spread across 3 states. Daniel and I weren't together, but his family adored Noah. They protected him. They supported him. And they never forgave my family for how they treated me. When Noah died, Daniel's mother, Mrs. Evelyn Mercer, held me for hours, telling me she would stand by me for the rest of her life. That night, after leaving the Thanksgiving dinner, I drove straight to her estate. She opened the door before I even knocked. What did they do this time? She asked. I told her everything. Every single word. By the time I finished, her face had lost all warmth. They dared to celebrate my grandson's death, she whispered. I nodded. She straightened up, her posture full of authority and chilling calm. Then let's give thanks, she said darkly. For now we teach them consequences. 2 days later, I received a call from my mother. Clara, we didn't see you again after dinner. How childish. I hope you're done being dramatic. I didn't respond. She hung up. What she didn't know was that for the next week, the the Mercer investigation teams, yes, they have their own private investigators, began digging into every member of my family. Every secret. Every lie. Every illegal transaction. Every theft. Every fraudulent claim. Every under-the-table business deal. Within 7 days, a file thicker than a dictionary sat on Mrs. Mercer's table. It contained enough evidence to destroy my family's reputation, finances, and freedom. But I didn't want just legal destruction. I wanted emotional destruction. I wanted them to feel what it was like to lose everything. So we planned something far more theatrical. The following weekend, my mother called again. "We're having another family dinner. You're expected to be here. Don't embarrass us again." I agreed. She sounded triumphant, thinking she had regained control over me. But she had no idea she had walked straight into the fire. When I arrived at the house, everything felt normal. The same loud chatter, the same fake smiles, the same coldness toward me. But tonight would be different. Exactly at 8 p.m., the doorbell rang. My mother frowned and walked to open it. Standing on the porch were 4 Mercer representatives, dressed in formal black suits. Behind them, a half-dozen uniformed officers and an attorney. "Good evening," the lead representative said. "We are here on behalf of the Mercer family, and Clara." The entire room went silent. My mother looked confused. "Clara? What is this?" I stepped forward. "A lesson." Then everything unfolded beautifully and brutally. The representatives began reading out loud every piece of evidence. My uncle, who had been siphoning money from his company for years. My aunt, who forged documents to steal inheritance from her own siblings. My cousin, who was involved in illegal gambling and owed dangerous people money. My mother, who had committed tax fraud for 8 straight years. Every secret they thought I didn't know was now being read aloud in front of the entire family, as officers slowly approached each guilty relative. Faces paled. Voices cracked. Hands trembled. One by one, the officers began placing people in handcuffs. My mother grabbed my arm, panicked. "Clara, stop them. This is your family." I pulled my arm away calmly. "You celebrated my son's death," I said quietly. "Tonight, I'm celebrating your downfall." She fell to her knees. "Please, please don't do this. I didn't mean it." But I remembered the laughter, the clinking glasses, the toast to purity. I crouched so that we were eye to eye. "You taught me how to be heartless," I whispered. "Now I'm simply returning the lesson." In the weeks that followed, half my family went to jail. The other half lost everything: homes, cars, jobs, reputations. Their pure lineage was now a national headline and a public disgrace. Nobody in town looked at them with respect ever again. My mother tried to reach out to me multiple times, begging, crying, apologizing, but she never once mentioned Noah's name. That told me everything I needed to know. I blocked her. I blocked all of them. A month later, I stood at Noah's grave with fresh flowers. The air was cold, quiet, peaceful. "I told them," I whispered. "I told them you mattered. And now, they will never forget it." I kissed the top of his headstone. "I hope you're proud of Mommy." As I walked away, I felt something I hadn't felt in a long time. Closure. Not forgiveness. Not healing. But closure. And sometimes, that's enough. Moral lessons. This story reminds us that no matter how cruel the world becomes, grief should never be mocked and family should never be the source of your deepest wounds. When people show you their true hearts, believe them, and protect your peace at all costs. Healing doesn't always come from forgiveness. Sometimes it comes from walking away and choosing yourself. Stand firm in your worth, surround yourself with people who value your pain, And never let anyone convince you that your loss is insignificant. You are stronger than the betrayal you survived, and your future will always shine brighter than the darkness others tried to drag you into. Keep moving forward. Your peace, your happiness, and your justice matter.